pensioners, staff, volunteers, ladies and gentlemen. It is a real pleasure for me to be here with you again at the Royal Hospital, Chelsea, for your Founders' Day. I'm sorry not to be here the year before last, but I hear that my stand-in did uphold the standards that you expect. Thank you for welcoming so warmly, in spite of him being a sailor. Yesterday, we have both had the pleasure of being in Normandy. That's the 80th anniversary of the embarkation of those many thousands of troops that were transported and supported by countless numbers of naval vessels, merchant navy, even Trinity House's six ships, Allied aircraft, and for their successful establishment of that all-important bridgehead. I also had the opportunity of meeting with the Regina Rifles from Canada, who went from Juneau to Bayeux. And we then went to Bayeux Cemetery and to the cathedral. And I mentioned that my husband's uncle, Sub-Lieutenant Keith Symons, was in charge of 3 landing craft on that day. Together we remembered the sacrifice of so many of those sailors, soldiers and aviators, which started that road to freedom on the 6th of June 1944. And we also remembered the civilians in Normandy. The veterans and serving members are warmly welcomed in Normandy. Nearly every village has a memorial, as they did for the Regina Rifles. And the annual service at Bayeux Cathedral is always well attended. And the cathedral itself is remarkably undamaged because of the success of getting there in that first day. And it is a particular pleasure in that context of the memories that are here today of the Second World War veterans who are in pensioners. One of whom, in pensioner Roy Cadden, landed on D-Day 80 years ago today. And I thank all of the Chelsea pensioners for continuing to represent our nation so proudly at the countless commemorations, celebrations and other events throughout the year that you are invited to and volunteer for. And all of you come back. And I'm delighted in your pride in your scarlet uniforms. That brings the inspiration and pride to others. And that's a real legacy that your founder could be proud of. We see today, sadly, the terrible cost of war in Ukraine, the Middle East, and elsewhere. And you remind us of the importance of the deterrence, of deterring those who might engage us or our allies in conflict. But the need for your successors today in today's armed forces to be ready at short notice to put their lives on the line to protect our security. Some of the basics, I'm afraid, do not change. Thank you also for your contribution in so many ways. Some things that you do from here. The Chelsea Pensioners Veterans Outreach Programme, the newly created Royal Hospital Detachment of the Army Cadet Corps. Your visits to both hospitals and prisons, and that some of you raise that profile of the homeless who are forced to sleep out. You as a group, though, represent a huge collective memory of experience and understanding. Many will have your LS&GCs for long service, and many of you more. Brackets, undetected crime, close brackets. And you have learned from all those experiences can be valuable They'll be valuable with the right leadership. So thank you for your eagerness to engage with and bring that support and inspiration to others, young and old alike, because it is essential in this polarised world to bring people together. But Founders Day is also about the whole establishment, and I would like to thank all of your staff, volunteers and other supporters for sustaining the highest standards of care, reflected in the outstanding gradings given in recent Care Quality Commission inspections, and in keeping these magnificent buildings and grounds both beautiful but also fully fit for the purpose for which they were built over 300 years ago. To bring you together, to share your stories and your strengths. My thanks also go to your families and friends who come here today. But I wish above all your continued happiness in this great establishment. Your bearing and your turnout today were first class, and it is an appropriate mark of respect to your founder, King Charles II.